Heidi ho, everybody. It's Tanya, and you can call me Tanya. Here's another part of the path. My favorite part of the path, actually. There's beautiful shots on this walk. And it's going to be my time of the year. I mean, I love the summertime. I'm a summertime baby, you know. But this is the time of year, love. It's apropos that I would be going into a lawsuit. And I don't know. I mean, it's the biggest challenge of my life, honestly. It really is. I'm excited, horrified, infuriated, triggered all the hell. But it's exciting. You know, I have to call it what it is. It's not often that you find that you have such formidable opposition out there. In any case, I did want to make this quick because it just needs to be. I want to try to sum this up, you know, because one, I think any lawyer out there would tell you that publishing that information is a mistake. They would tell you that, and they'd be right. They'd also say it's a hugely bad idea to represent yourself. They would be right in certain things. This is one of them. Emotionally, I have found it horrible. And certainly I talked to lawyers, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I did. And I know because of the information I have now. Earlier, I couldn't really, I had the information I needed, but here was the problem. I talk to you about records all the time, and I talk to you about the fact that the VA, or at Jesse Brown, because see, I make those distinctions because they operate in regions, and regions, like any other large corporation, sometimes develop silos. That's a leadership issue. I'm not even going to go there. I'm just not. But understand it was the executives that put this order on me. And I'm going to say it just like that because that's what it was, a burn order. You saw it, and I can show you at least 5 others. So a lawyer would tell you absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. The problem is, first of all, this lawsuit, forget about it. It's a winner. There's no doubt about that. These are hard facts. They're just facts. It's not my interpretation. It's none of that. You either had a claim actually or you didn't. It's simple as that. You either erased stuff out of your system or you didn't. It's simple as that. In regard to my stance with the government, I don't, like I said, the contractors that are contracted to administer benefits are the defendants. The secretary of the VA is a defendant and has to be. Here's the thing now. The secretary of the VA is a government employee and an appointee by the president. And when this crap went down in Arizona, everybody at that level said, oh no, we didn't know anything about that. Of course, the secretary of the VA did step down. So what they did prove is that it went all the way up, all the way, and that the only person that had any plausible deniability denied it and then resigned. I don't look to see that happen again in this situation. I really don't. First of all, because the internal record that those contractors are using is meant to hide information from the actual government. So here you have your contractor that is stealing money from you. It is not unheard of. I don't know why people are blown away by this concept. It is actually fairly easy to steal from the government, which is why all those PPP loans and whatnot came out. It's actually very easy. It's hard. What's hard is when you get caught. So you don't hear about medical insurance rings and that kind of thing involving doctors, but you do hear about it. It does happen, and that's because they have hard evidence. Nobody's going after these types of folks without that. And so I guess what I'm getting at, and I've gone a long way, but the point is I'm well aware that it's not prudent to share this type of information with you. I'm also well aware that in the process of lawsuits, information gets squelched or it gets squashed. Sometimes in settlements, the whole thing is a no talk about it ever again kind of a situation. This is not going to be that. It's not going to be that because I have no intention of settling or giving away my right to speak about what happened to me. That's absolutely not going to happen. It's not even on the table. Now, those 40 soldiers whose families settled, you don't know the particulars about that, do you? Yeah, right. So, Tanya, why can't you just call the VFW? I don't know. I don't know why I can't just call them and they know about this. Probably because that information was squashed. And unfortunately, what that means, it was all narrated. The narrative that went out and most people stick with is veterans waiting to die on wait lists. No, they're being actively blocked. Actively blocked at the highest level and preyed upon. And their benefits stolen. Their benefit dollar, that claimed dollar. It's an actual instrument. It's actual money. So not only is there the potential that the information wouldn't get out to you, other veterans, well, you have to be careful. So I know the position I'm in, and I understand that, like I said, a lawyer would tell you, absolutely do not do that. Don't do that, whatever you do. And I agree. I also agree that this is very difficult for me to be able to put together a case because of my emotional involvement in it. This happened to me. And I can't tell you the pain and anguish and the nights that I've been up sleepless in Indiana. Nobody was coming, and I knew that. And I still know it. I don't think one person has said, Tanya, I'm really sorry that happened to you. You don't really think that I'm online and nobody ever knows me, that nobody in the local city knows me? Is that what you're thinking? There are those that would benefit from me leaving here because I am a veteran. How about when the soldier comes home from war and his wife and family takes his ass out because of the insurance? Did you guys forget the insurance that's associated with me? Well, some people didn't. They didn't forget about the insurance associated with my grandfather. They didn't forget about the insurance associated with my father. Now, if it's all the way at the highest level and you can create a medical record, give that to the government, erase the actual record, then replace it with that file that you are going to hand to the government and say, hey, no, I don't know what she's talking about. We gave her all this care. Well, I just told you what they did do. Now let's talk about the insurance. Since I'm 100%, my grandfather was retired, my father, 100% Vietnam. Then if they were to create a record for me right now, then someone over there, the same person that had orchestrated this nonsense in the first place, that had to be coordinated. You can't just, why would they know about advanced imaging at freaking University of Chicago? They didn't just reach out to those folks. Don't be silly. Like I said, it's the equivalent of them calling McDonald's and say, hey, do you have some slides for Miss Kendrick? It's ridiculous. But it's the insurance. You have a benefit as a veteran, even after you're dead. Your children have benefits. I'm not talking about just a burial coverage. I'm not talking about that. That's afforded to any veteran. I'm talking about when you're 100% service connected and you die from something that's service connected. So it was not just while I was here or while I am here that I am of value to some people. You can see the amount of claims over 10 years. I said it was a stack. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That was even before they pulled the stunt. That's why I said the stunt was not even necessary. They already knew. They just had to wait it out, but not these guys. No, no, no. How dare you write my boss's boss and out me? Well, I'm going to write your boss's boss again and take him to court because of you. He's going to out you. It ain't going to be me. He's going to correct you. That's his job. It's not mine. It was my job to inform him. It was my job to be responsible enough to say, hey, this is what's happening here in Indiana, and you have a problem. And I have no choice. I've tried every method of escalation. Now, the only path left, or the only resolve a soldier has when they find himself in this position, you're on your way to whatever federal appeals court in your state. That's your only recourse. So, I want you to understand that for a lawyer to even attempt to look at something like this, they're wanting a lot more than just one person. Now, I'm telling them that there's more there, but, you know, it's a weird kind of thing to have to try to sell yourself to a lawyer so that they can help save your life. I don't really feel very comfortable with that anymore. I'm not doing it. Not to mention, it's not because I don't want a lawyer. It's because I may be able to move a lot faster than they can go right now. I can be in appeals court next week. An attorney is going to have to do some background, and frankly, I'm going to have to get them up to speed to understand where the bodies are buried. I don't have to do that with me. But I do have severe challenge of being emotionally attached to this, being traumatized by the thing I have to express to the judge. That's why it took so long. Those burn orders is what kept me out of any other facility. So not only the first thing that has to happen, I literally have to go to federal appeals court and get a restraining order on the folks at Jesse Brown. Can you imagine that? That's how much they wanted to make a point to me. And if it seems ridiculous and crazy, that's because it is. Why do you think that we're dealing with some kind of psychopathy here? But make no mistake, when I went into that hospital in 2021, now initially the doctors didn't know I was a vet until they got those first authorizations telling them what to do. And then they start to develop a plan. And everything from that point on was meant to misrepresent and mislead me. The things reaching out into the community. I mean, I was crazy. But it's like I said, at some point, I literally had to change my number. They were calling my home. One guy called me from the VA and told me if I ever wanted to see another claim dollar or file a claim, to sell my house. Of course, I reported it. But again, I didn't know I was burned. See, I'm thinking they're going to do something about this kind of stuff. I can be naive about that. I still believe in the right thing and that someone will do the right thing. So, clearly they may not. There we go. That's one of my favorite. At some point in the middle of that little brush up there and the trees up there that we're coming up on, it used to bend across the whole lane or whole trail. Beautiful. That's what I like about artwork and photography. You may not see it again, you know? So I am trying to summarize this as best as I know how. I'm clearly operating outside of scope of something that I'm used to doing. That's fine. New things, new levels, new devils. What can you do? So, if anything, you may want to keep track of this just to see how it works. Not too many times you'll see a real life David and Goliath story. Because make no mistake, I intend to win. And while I'm doing that, I intend to inform as many veterans as I can. Whether they hear me or not, whether they feel like they need to support me or not, that's not how this works. So if I put all of the information out there and I try to let as many veterans know as I can, I honestly feel like I've done my job. I feel like I can say to my maker, Father, I tried to tell them. That's all. And as far as going to court, I told you that I was diagnosed with advanced stage in 2021. It's debatable as to how much of that money I would even spend. It's kind of a non-issue for me. And I had to figure that out. What's the big deal for you? Is it money? No, it's not money. It can't be money. I mean, I don't want to do without, but I'm not doing without. I want for nothing. I just think it's the right thing to do, man. I hope you people hear me, especially if you're in Indiana. But know this, those lists that I'm referring to, and I'm going to show you something, that's nationally. And they knew about it in 2015 because that's when the articles came out. That's when the congressional reports came out. And I think they even asked Senator Durbin, what did you do to get these people off those lists? I think I might have saw something there. I'm looking for it. Well, how do you get us off those lists? If there's no vehicle, you have no policy in place, you have no way, even the IG comes up under the umbrella of the administrations. So they're going to get the first hint first. And it didn't stop anything. That's the part you need to understand. Their whole command, I escalated all through it. Even all the way up to the senior contractors. I think I showed you that. For Westat and Econ Systems. So this is a little bit of a web we've gotten ourselves into, but hell, it wouldn't be me if I wasn't. I remember when the doctor said, you have a rare cancer. I said, yeah, that's about right. I said, why not? You know, some things, yeah, why not? Why not a rare cancer? So, those forms, those claims that you saw were meant to reduce a claim. Not only did they reduce the claim, they tried to get rid of any evidence that I ever had cancer, ever. I mean, they went all the way with it. Again, I wasn't supposed to be here. I guess I am rare. So, that's what it's all. No, that's jail time because I'm pressing charges. You see, those 40 soldiers couldn't press charges. They were dead. Those samples in the executive summary I showed you, those people were dead. And I'm not. Talk about survivor's remorse. I don't understand why I'm here, but it's damn sure not to let these fucks get away with what they did. And it's not to get a lawsuit and then walk away and not inform other veterans what actually happened because I settled for a lawsuit for money I probably wouldn't even be able to spend anyway. It's to inform you. So I show you a picture of a dog and that damn thing runs through the roof. I tell you a veteran's gonna die and you just, yeah. Well, that's how those 40 soldiers died. You think they didn't tell anybody? You think their people wasn't, their family members watching them die, didn't want some help, didn't scream out to somebody, didn't try to say something to anybody? Is that what y'all really think? That they never even contacted the regional directors over there? That's crazy. And said, why aren't you giving that? Why? They're called notices of disagreement. All of that. You think they didn't reach out to attorneys? Come on, sweetie, let's go back. They did. And they probably maybe reached out to you guys. I find it hard to be this vulnerable, honestly. Maybe they didn't. I doubt very seriously that they would get online and share their pain in this way. Because frankly, without any proof, and I guess what I was trying to say about those documents, if you're at Jesse Brown, I don't have any of my records from Jesse Brown. Do you understand that? I have literally asked these people to turn over my records, sit FOIA requests and everything. I literally have to go to court to get them to turn them over.